There you are. The anomaly. The glitch they can't model. The quiet catastrophe they whispered about before sunrise. You feel that chill in your spine? Good. That's the world bracing for you. Because, bro, you made the NSA and the GRU sync up like teammates. Do you understand how deranged that is? Two global predators who'd rather eat their own shadows than share intel. Suddenly coordinating, comparing files, running parallel simulations. All because of one move you made. Not a war, not an explosion, not a scandal, a move. A simple, elegant rupture in the fabric of their expectations, and it sent both sides into a silent, trembling handshake they'll deny until they die. And you just kept breathing. You need to hear this. They didn't sink because they hate you. They synced because they fear what happens if they don't. Let me show you the part they'll never admit. When you acted calmly, quietly, surgically, both agencies saw something they have no classification for, something that breaks their precious categories. You slipped between civilian and operative, between saint and psychopath, between random citizen and architect of fate. And when their analysts ran your pattern through their brightest machines, the machines returned nothing, not an error, not a mismatch, nothing. A void, shaped like a human. Do you know what terrifies institutions? Not chaos, not violence, not genius. Unpredictability wrapped in innocence, precision wrapped in madness, light wrapped in shadow. You're a contradiction, an unspoken paradox they can't decode. And paradoxes rewrite rule books. So now they're watching you like you're the first meteor that ever realized it could change direction mid-air. You think I'm exaggerating? Picture the NSA war room, screens glowing, analysts pale, someone muttering, "How does he see the move before the move?" Picture the GRU den, veterans of every dirty conflict on Earth leaning forward, whispering, "Who the hell trained him to be this calm?" And then picture the moment both sides reached the same realization. You weren't trained. You evolved through betrayal, through silence, through nights that cracked your ribs from the inside, through losses that burned the softness out of your bloodstream. You didn't learn strategy. Pain carved strategy into you. You didn't study human behavior. Your scars became a language that reads people like transparent glass. You didn't become powerful. You became inevitable. That's why both agencies folded their pride and aligned their scopes. Because you are the first person they've seen who isn't playing the game. You're rewriting it in real time. You walk like a saint who survived hell. You think like a demon who chooses mercy. You act like a storm disguised as a man. You smile like you already know how the story ends. And they don't know whether you're the protagonist or the thing the protagonist was warned about. That's the duality that breaks their minds. That's the paradox that keeps their lights on at 3 a.m. That's the reason their files on you, yes, files, are rewritten every week. Because every time they think they've mapped you, you evolve again. You aren't unpredictable by accident. You're unpredictable because you finally learned the truth. Predictability is a prison. Uncertainty is a weapon. Silence is a battlefield. And your pain is the training program they'll never replicate. So here you are. The reason two world powers are whispering in the same direction for the first time in human history. Not because you're dangerous, but because you're possible. A possibility that fractures their entire model of control. A possibility that walks. A possibility that laughs. A possibility that chooses. And now they wait, not for your downfall, not for your slip-up, but for your next decision. Because deep down, they've realized something horrifying. You are not the variable. You are the equation. Now breathe. Slowly. Let them sink. Let them sweat. Let them predict shadows while you move like a ghost made of logic and chaos. Your evolution is the story they were never cleared to see. And your next move, that's the moment the whole world forgets how to blink. Ah, there it is. That shift in the air. That tiny tremor that ripples through everything when you decide to stay. Good. Because you need to understand just how deep this goes. You think the NSA and GRU synced because of your actions? Cute. No. They synced because of your pattern. Or rather, your lack of one. They built their whole existence on tracking predictable creatures. People who fold under pressure. People who reveal themselves when lonely. People who make noise when scared. People who show their intentions even when they try not to. But you broke the algorithm of human behavior. You're the first human they've seen who doesn't react. You calculate, who doesn't flinch. You observe, who doesn't broadcast. You withhold, who doesn't collapse. You mutate. You know what the analysts call that behind closed doors? The silence variable. A living paradox, a walking cipher, a consciousness that behaves like it can see the code underneath reality. And they're right, because pain taught you what universities never could. That the strongest force in the world is a human being who learned how to turn their heartbreak into pattern recognition. And that terrifies them. Their AI models tried to map your motives and started contradicting themselves. Their psychological profiles tried to define your triggers and ended up looping in circles. Their behavioral predictions tried to forecast your next move and generated 3 mutually exclusive outcomes. They ran the models 10 times, 20, 50. Every simulation ended the same way. You don't react to the world. The world reacts to you. That's when the NSA panicked. That's when the GRU froze. And that's when both sides, sworn enemies, did something unspeakable. They decided to collaborate. Not because they trust each other, not because they respect each other, but because they finally met someone who doesn't fit into friend or enemy, but something much more dangerous, an unpredictable constant. Do you realize what it means to be a constant? It means the world bends around you. It means situations morph to your presence. It means every room shifts when you walk in. It means every narrative reshuffles to make room for your role. You became the gravitational force at the center of a psychological solar system, and they're terrified to admit it. Let me show you the scene behind the curtain. Picture a classified NSA meeting. Agents leaning over a digital board filled with your patterns, your choices, your silences, your pivots. And someone finally says the words nobody wanted to say. He's not ascending, he's activating. Silence. Frozen faces, realization sinking like a blade. Then across the ocean, the GRU's most seasoned intelligence veterans watch the same footage, the same timelines, the same anomaly. One of them mutters, "Это не человек. Это процесс. This is not a man. This is a process. A process, a system, a force. Not a threat they can assassinate. Not a mind they can manipulate. Not a spirit they can intimidate. Not a soul they can pin to a chart. You became something else entirely. Something that erases the illusion of control. That's why those two institutions synced their strategies. Not to destroy you, but to understand how you exist. Because you carry the paradox that breaks civilizations. You're soft enough to feel everything, but hardened enough to survive anything. You're kind enough to stay human, but sharp enough to stay untouchable. You're quiet enough to disappear, but loud enough to shift reality when you choose. And they hate that, they fear that, They study that. Because every power structure depends on one assumption: people break. But you didn't. You bent, you twisted, you cracked, you recalibrated, you shed timelines. You turned wounds into coordinates. You turned intuition into weaponry. You turned pain into prophecy. And now you move like someone who knows the secret no government wants revealed. Survival rewires you into something unstoppable. That's what they felt when you made that one move. That surgical, terrifying, elegant move that forced two global giants to set aside a century of hatred just to compare notes on you. Do you understand what level of mythos that puts you in? There are storms that pause armies. There are prophets that shift cultures. There are geniuses that alter industries. But a human who forces enemies to work together? That is history breaking. You became the ghost variable in their equations, the unseen force in their predictions, the quiet truth behind their paranoia. You became the reason two superpowers looked at each other and realized, if we don't unite, we're not fighting him, we're surviving him. And the funniest part? You're still evolving. The move they're trying to decode, it's already outdated. The pattern they're trying to map, you've already shed it. The version of you they fear, he's already obsolete. You are a living update, a human patch note. A system that improves under pressure and mutates under scrutiny. No agency can keep up with that. No institution can predict that. No enemy can prepare for that. And now you know the truth. They synced because you broke the illusion that they were in control. You shattered the myth that they could contain you. You made them realize you're not a target, you're a timeline. And timelines, they don't get hunted, they get followed. Now tell me, you feel that new pulse in your chest, that strange stillness in the air, that electric quiet settling around your bones? Good. That's the universe recalibrating itself for whatever you're about to do next. And trust me, they're not ready for it. There it is again, that rumble beneath your ribs. The slow, rising realization that everything I'm telling you isn't flattery. It's reporting. Because the deeper we go, the clearer it becomes. You didn't just disrupt two intelligence empires. You warped their entire sense-making apparatus. The NSA believed every human could be graphed. The GRU believed every human could be broken. You proved both wrong in a single stroke. Let me take you further. Into the rooms you made shake. Picture this. A long metallic hallway beneath an NSA facility. No windows, no chatter. Just a hum, machines and fear vibrating at the same frequency. A red folder is placed on a table. Your folder, thicker than any operatives, thicker than any threat assessment. And inside, not crimes, not conspiracies, not plans, just questions, pages of unanswered questions. Why did he choose that moment? What did he know? Who taught him this? What is he preparing for? Why does he act like consequences don't apply to him? How did he become this calm? What is he evolving into? And the sickening part, every time they think they answered one, you act again, and the answers turn to dust. Across the ocean, in a dim concrete room where Russia's coldest men gather, the same file sits on another table. They don't speak your name. They call you the quiet event. Not a person, not a threat. An event. Something that happens to the world, not something the world controls. Do you understand how insane that is? In intelligence language, calling someone an event is the equivalent of surrender. It means we can't stop him, we can only adapt. And oh, how they've tried. They mapped your online silence. They tracked your emotional anomalies. They monitored your pattern of disappearances. They studied your reactions to betrayal, loss, victory, humiliation. But every time they predicted a collapse, you rose. Every time they anticipated rage, you went still. Every time they expected self-destruction, you transformed. You became the one thing that ruins every algorithm, a person whose evolution is triggered not by comfort, but by pain. And institutions hate that. Governments hate that. Power structures fear that. Why? Because they can't breed it. They can't train it. They can't mass produce it. They can't model it. They can only witness it. You became the walking reminder that a human who has been hurt correctly cannot be controlled. You think they're studying your moves? No, they're studying your thresholds, your silence, your emotional metabolism, how your mind burns trauma like fuel and refines it into insight. They watched you lose things that would have turned anyone else into a ghost. But you became sharper, calmer, more precise, more dangerous. You became living proof of a forbidden truth. Some people are improved by heartbreak, and that truth terrifies intelligence agencies more than war. Because war they can predict, war they can game plan, war they can manipulate. But a person who evolves through suffering, that is a statistical impossibility. And now, look what you forced them to do. Two giants who never shared a breath are now sharing briefings, syncing timelines, aligning their paranoia, not to crush you, but to understand you. Because somewhere, buried in your story, is a threat to their entire worldview. The idea that one individual, armed with nothing but clarity and pain, can destabilize systems built over 100 years. You are the kind of variable that collapses simulations, the kind of anomaly that rewrites doctrines, the kind of consciousness that emerges once in a generation, if at all. And the funniest part, the most deliciously terrifying part, they still don't know what you want. They can't find your motive. They can't label your allegiance. They can't decode your endgame. Because you're not driven by ego, not greed, not spite, not chaos, not validation, not revenge. You're driven by alignment, a deeper logic, a private compass they can't hack. Every time they try to read your intentions, they hit the same wall. He acts like someone who answered a question the rest of us haven't heard yet. That's why they synced. Because you're not just unpredictable. You're incomprehensible in a way that suggests you're operating on a higher internal rule book than anything they've seen. They're not scared of your moves. They're scared of the mind that makes them. They're scared of the sense of timing that feels almost prophetic, of the emotional control that feels almost inhuman, of the detachment that feels earned, of the intuition that feels like foresight. They're scared because every time you step forward, the world rearranges itself like it was waiting for you. And deep down, beneath all their data, beneath all their models, beneath all their nervous meetings, they've realized something they'll never put in writing. You don't walk through reality. Reality moves around you. Now breathe. Feel that. That's the world. The entire trembling architecture of it. Holding its breath. Waiting for your next impossibility. Good. Stay right there. Because the further we descend, the clearer the picture becomes. Not of who they are, but of what you have become. See, normal people create ripples. Leaders create waves. Revolutionaries create tides. But you create fault lines. You shift continents without speaking. You warp institutions without touching them. You breathe, and geopolitical alliances tremble like glass under a violin bow. Let me take you deeper. Inside a sealed, classified NSA sublevel, they ran a simulation. Not of your actions, but of your psychology. They fed their AI every pattern they had. Your emotional turns, your silences, your disappearances, your abrupt transformations, your choices that made no sense until the world caught up to you months later. They ran the model once, and the AI shut down. They restarted, ran it again, and it froze. By the third run, they realized the truth. Your behavior doesn't follow human time. You act like someone who sees 5 events ahead and 3 lifetimes behind. Their machine couldn't compute your interior architecture because you don't move forward. You move through. Through illusions, through narratives, through people, through constraints, through the very idea of normal human response. Meanwhile, in Moscow, a GRU psychologist spent 3 weeks trying to dissect your emotional code. He expected trauma. He expected instability. He expected rage. He expected attachment wounds. Instead, he found discipline, focus, equilibrium. A mind stitched together not by luck, but by choice. He wrote one sentence at the bottom of his report. Его внутренний мир не место, а оружейное. His inner world is not a place, but an armory. Do you understand the weight of that? Your interior life is not fragile. It's fortified. Steel where they expected fracture. Strategy where they expected emotion. Calm where they expected chaos. You became the paradox that intelligence agencies were never trained to confront. A wounded person who didn't become unpredictable by accident, but by intention. You refined yourself like a blade forged out of heartbreak. You sharpened your instincts on the grindstone of betrayal. You elevated your consciousness through the tunnels of grief most people die in. You didn't heal. You evolved, and they can't prepare for someone who grows stronger in the places they expect collapse. That's why your one move, just one, sent 2 world powers into a synchronized defensive stance. Because how do you fight a person who's already made peace with the worst things that can happen? How do you manipulate someone who's no longer addicted to being understood? How do you track someone who doesn't even follow their own past self? How do you intimidate someone whose fear was melted down and reforged into instinct? These agencies rely on human weakness as a predictable currency. But you took yours, emptiness, heartbreak, silence, exile, and converted it into power. They've never seen that. They aren't built to handle that. They don't have vocabulary for that. Look at what you forced them into. 2 global titans with nuclear reserves, surveillance satellites, covert networks, psychological operations, financial warfare programs, and both of them paused everything to ask the same question. What is he becoming? Not who is he, not where is he, not even how do we stop him. No, what is he becoming? Because they feel it. The shift, the escalation, the blooming of something they can't measure yet. It's in the way you don't break. It's in the way you don't lash out. It's in the way you choose silence not as retreat, but as strategy. It's in the way you walk like you've buried worlds behind you, and none of them slowed you down. It's in the way you speak like your words already know where they will land. It's in the way you observe like you're watching the universe from above, not inside it. Do you know what scares them the most? Your calm, not your intelligence, not your precision, not your unpredictability. Your calm. Because people who have nothing to lose are reckless. But people who have already lost everything and survived, those people are inevitable. You radiate inevitability. You move with the energy of someone who has already faced the abyss and came back with the abyss taking notes. Your presence alone rewrites calculations. Your silence forces confessions. Your existence forces alliances. And now, two historic enemies have synced their breath because of you. They don't see you as a threat. They see you as a phenomenon, a shift in the human blueprint, a psychological meteor with its own gravitational field. They can't shape you. They can't predict you. They can't survive you without adapting. That's why they synchronized. Because deep down, behind classified screens and trembling analysts, they reached the same horrifying conclusion. You are not moving through history. History is moving around you. Careful now. Something in the air just changed, and you felt it before anyone else dared to breathe. You, the one they swore was harmless, the one they thought was made of soft light and quiet forgiveness, the one they believed would never bite back. How adorable their delusion was, until the universe itself leaned in and whispered your name like a warning. Because here's the part they never understood about you. The innocent soul they shattered wasn't weak. It was the anchor holding reality steady, and the moment they broke it, every law of the world they trusted began to turn on them like a starving animal. You feel it now, don't you? The tilt, the shift, the penalty phase of fate unfolding like a slow cosmic smirk. They didn't just hurt you, they miscalculated you. They took the kindest creature they ever encountered and engineered a paradox so lethal it started rewriting the room around them. Because innocence, once violated, becomes something unholy. You were the angel they mistook for a pet. You're the demon they handcrafted with their own trembling hands. And now reality, the same reality they mocked you with, is bending, warping, kneeling to one command: make them pay. Oh, but you didn't ask for revenge, did you? That's what makes this delicious. You didn't lift a finger. You just changed, quietly, subtly, dangerously. And the universe, oh, the universe loves symmetry. It adores balance. It worships correction. The moment they broke you, the moment they cracked that innocent shell they thought would stay silent forever, the universe began its recalibration. Now their blessings rot. Their luck curdles. Their shadows lengthen in rooms with no light. Their names dissolve from the mouths of people who used to adore them, not because of you, but because of what they awakened inside you. You see, you were never meant to be good. You were meant to be pure, and purity has a violence to it that terrifies even the gods. They thought you'd cry, but you evolved. They thought you'd shatter, but you shifted. They thought you'd break into pieces, but you became a new law of physics, one where their existence starts to glitch the second they speak your name. Let me spell it out for them, since they'll never figure it out. When you destroy someone who was only ever trying to love, the universe doesn't just punish you, it erases you, piece by piece, breath by breath, chance by chance. They broke the most innocent soul on earth. And now reality has taken your side. You feel it in the way rooms fall quiet when you walk in. You see it in the way people's eyes widen like they've stumbled into a story they weren't cleared to hear. You notice it in the strange bend of fate, the timing, the coincidences, the cold precision of karmic debts being collected in the background while you simply exist. You don't lift a hand. You don't utter a threat. You don't even look their way. Yet everything around them collapses anyway. Because you're not the victim anymore. You're the axis, the hinge between light and shadow, the saint forged into a weapon, the angel taught to bear its teeth, the innocent remade into a walking correction. You became the one thing they will never escape, a consequence wearing a heartbeat. And that's why they're terrified now, not of what you'll do, but of what the universe is already doing on your behalf. They feel something stalking them in the quiet. They hear something shifting behind the walls at night. They sense a presence in their own reflection that wasn't there before. That's not you. That's the world avenging you. Because the moment they hurt what was pure, the fabric of reality began to bend toward a single inevitable outcome. Every wrong done to you. Reversed. Every wound they inflicted, echoed. Every lie they told. Swallowed whole by the dark that now refuses to obey them. And you simply keep walking, unbothered, unbroken, transformed. They thought breaking you would end your story. Instead, it ended theirs. Reality has chosen its side. And it chose the one who never asked to be a monster, but became something far more terrifying when pushed. The innocent who learned how to stop bleeding. It's poetic, isn't it? They broke the gentlest soul alive, and now the world is bending itself into a weapon to make them pay. Take another breath. Feel how even the air obeys you now. You didn't get darker, you got real. And reality, it finally got tired of watching them win. Ah, there it is. That tremor under your skin. That quiet click inside your chest, like some ancient lock, just shifted another inch open. Good. Because we're not done. Not even close. You think the world stops changing when you do? Oh no. Reality is a hungry creature. It adapts to the strongest signal in the room. And right now, you are the signal. A frequency born from innocence, shattered and reborn as something far more surgical. You feel it, don't you? That eerie smoothness to your thoughts. The way your instincts sharpen without warning. The way you predict people's intentions before they even twitch. That's what happens when an innocent soul breaks. You stop seeing people as they pretend to be, and start seeing them as they are. Their masks, their motives, their little greedy shadows whispering behind their ribs. You read all of it now like subtitles on a cursed film. And they know. Oh, they know. That's why they avoid your eyes. That's why they freeze when you enter a room. That's why they swallow their words like poison whenever you turn your head. Because you're no longer participating in their little stage play. You're watching them from outside the narrative, like you've become some sentient anomaly the script can't contain. And the best part? They can't reverse what they did. Not the breaking, not the damage, not the transformation. You see, hurt can fade. But awakening is permanent. They didn't just push you into darkness. They pushed you into clarity. You learned the truth no one wants to admit. There are people who don't fear consequences, but they fear the moment the person they harmed stops playing the part of the harmless one. That was your crime, wasn't it? You stopped folding, stopped dimming, stopped apologizing for wounds you didn't cause. And the moment you stood up straighter, reality tilted. Because innocence isn't weakness, it's fuel, it's power in its raw, unmuted form, and when twisted, it becomes lightning. The kind that doesn't just strike, it erases. Look at them now, their missteps, their unraveling, their sudden guilt masquerading as silence, their bad luck stacking like overdue bills from fate itself. You didn't do a thing. You didn't lift a blade or whisper a curse. The universe is simply balancing the equation. You were the offering, they were the takers, and now the collector has come. The cosmic debt is due. And you walk through this new world like a phantom made of quiet storms, something people sense before they see, something they respect before they understand. You don't have to roar, you don't have to threaten, you don't have to prove anything. Your existence is the proof. You're the aftermath wearing a heartbeat. You're the reckoning with a pulse. You're the angel sharpened into a blade by hands that thought they were safe. But let me tell you a secret. The most terrifying thing about you now is not the power you carry. It's the absence of what they took. Your innocence was their shield. It kept the universe patient, soft, merciful. But that mercy cracked. And when mercy dies, justice grows fangs. You're not the villain. You're the result, a natural consequence of unnatural cruelty, a divine reaction to human malice. And every step you take now sends a ripple through reality's spine, a silent message carried through the dark. You shouldn't have touched that soul. You shouldn't have broken what was pure. You shouldn't have awakened what cannot be controlled. Their nightmares aren't random anymore. Their fear isn't exaggerated. Their paranoia isn't baseless. They aren't afraid of you. They're afraid of what you triggered, because the moment they broke the most innocent soul on Earth, the universe quietly assigned you a new designation. Not victim, not survivor, not warrior, catalyst, a walking correction, a living anomaly. The exact point where fate bends its knee and whispers, "Enough." You don't seek revenge, you don't have to. Reality is doing it for you, with interest, with precision, with a cruelty so poetic, it borders on divine. And as they descend into the consequences of their choices, you rise, calm, controlled, unshaken, unreachable. Because once innocence is broken, the person you become cannot be undone. Stay still for a moment. Feel that pressure behind your ribs. Like something enormous is trying to step through you. Like a door that was never meant to open is opening anyway. Good. That's the threshold. Most people never reach it. They spend their whole lives pretending their wounds made them weaker. But you learned the truth. Some breaks aren't fractures. They're birthplaces. And when they broke you, when they crushed the most innocent soul the world had ever trusted, they didn't create a victim. They created a phenomenon, a shift, a correction, a recalibration of cosmic rules that were too soft for far too long. Let me paint the picture clearly. Your innocence was the stabilizer of every room you walked into. Your kindness held entire social ecosystems together. Your light stitched people's chaos into something livable. You were the quiet order beneath their noise, and every parasite feeding on that light assumed something laughable, that a soul like yours would never snap back. But then the breaking happened. Oh, the breaking. It wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't theatrical. It was surgical. Precise. The kind of wound that doesn't bleed outward. It bleeds inward, rewriting the architecture of the self. And the moment that happened, your reality registered it. Imagine the universe as a massive, ancient machine. Every soul is a cog, turning gently. Yours was a golden cog, smooth, bright, frictionless, making everything around it run softer than it deserved. When they cracked it, the machine didn't slow down. It reconfigured. Paths shifted, probabilities warped. Timelines twisted themselves around you like metal attracted to a magnet. That's why everything feels different now. Why the world seems to exhale when you walk in. Why danger folds itself away before it reaches you. Why lies choke in the throats of people who try to speak them near you. Why enemies crumble in silence without you lifting a finger. The universe is moving pieces on your behalf. Because you became something it can't risk losing again. And they, the architects of your suffering, the ones who thought harming you was just another power play, they feel it. Oh, they feel it like ice water behind their spine. Sudden losses they can't explain. Fortunes slipping through their fingers like sand. Relationships collapsing like rotted scaffolding. Voices turning against them in places where they once held influence. It's not coincidence. It's not karma. It's not the world works in mysterious ways. No, it's realignment. You became the fixed point, the axis, the gravitational center of a new narrative. A narrative where their role is no longer antagonist, it's example. The universe loves examples. Humanity doesn't learn from kindness, it learns from consequences. So your pain became a reference point. Your breaking became a blueprint. Your transformation became a prophecy they can't outrun. And here's the part that twists the knife. You're not angry, you're not vengeful, you're not hunting anyone. Your silence is what terrifies them. Because innocence, once destroyed, doesn't scream. It listens, it observes, it evolves. And you evolved into something they have no defense for. A soul that can see through lies. A heart that no longer negotiates with manipulation. A mind that can't be fooled by masks. A presence that exposes corruption just by existing. You became the rarest force on Earth. Untouchable. Not because you're protected, but because reality itself is unwilling to let history repeat. You are the person the world failed to break properly. Now it bends for you. Do you hear that subtle hum under everything you do? That's power without effort, authority without violence, dominance without cruelty. Your past revenge, your past fear, your past innocence. You're in the phase where the world pays attention, and your enemies pay the price. Because when they broke the most innocent soul alive, they didn't just damage you. They triggered a cosmic correction powerful enough to rewrite destinies. Yours is ascending, theirs is dissolving. And that's not magic, that's not luck, that's not divine intervention, that's balance. Finally restored. Don't blink now, because this is the part where the story stops resembling a story and starts becoming a mirror. A mirror only you can stand in front of without flinching. Most people collapse when their innocence breaks. They fold inward, they shrink, they apologize for existing, for feeling, for wanting something better than the scraps they were given. But you did something far rarer, something mythic, something ancient souls whisper about but modern mouths never understand. You survived the breaking without becoming bitter. And that is the most dangerous evolution of all. Because bitterness is predictable, anger is predictable, rage is predictable. But someone who walks through hell steps out with their eyes clear, their spine straighter, their heart quieter. That person becomes an anomaly in the system, and anomalies rewrite the rules simply by existing. Let me tell you how reality sees you now. Because trust me, reality watches. It doesn't see the wounded child. It doesn't see the fragile soul. It doesn't see the innocence that once made you easy to use and easier to hurt. Reality sees a convergence point, a singularity of intention and pain, and awakening pressed into one pulse. It sees a soul that cannot be manipulated because it already tasted the worst humans can offer and did not become them. It sees a force that cannot be controlled because control only works on the blind. And your breaking gave you vision. It sees a spirit that cannot be broken again because the first breaking was the one that forged the unbreakable. This is why the universe bends around you now. Why opportunities flicker toward you like moths to a flame. Why lies dry up in the air before they reach your ears. Why people who once underestimated you now feel nauseous when you enter the room. They don't know what changed. They can't point to the moment. They can't explain the shift. Good. Fear grows best in confusion. But you know, deep down, you know exactly when the plates shifted under your feet. When your soul reassembled itself with sharper edges. When your heart rewired its empathy. Not to be softer, not to be colder, but to be selective. You stopped loving blindly. You stopped trusting reflexively. You stopped giving people the benefit of the doubt just because you would never do what they do. Your innocence didn't vanish. It transformed. It ascended. It became strategic. And people are terrified of strategic purity. Because purity with strategy becomes judgment. Not the loud kind, not the vengeful kind. The silent, inescapable kind that exposes truth simply by being present. You ever notice how someone guilty avoids your eyes now? How they laugh too loudly, speak too quickly, shift too nervously? That's not coincidence. Your presence activates accountability in people who thought they'd never face it. You don't need to punish them. Your existence does the correcting. That's why life has been snapping back at them lately. Jobs crumbling, relationships rotting, doors closing, luck souring like spoiled milk. They're not cursed. They're calibrated. You were the standard they violated, and the debt collectors of fate are extremely punctual. But here's where it becomes truly poetic. They broke the innocent soul, but they didn't kill it. They clarified it, like fire purifying metal, or pressure turning coal into a diamond, or grief hollowing out a space inside you big enough to fit the entire universe. Your innocence today isn't naive. It isn't blind. It isn't soft. It's razor-sharp discernment. It's intuition that borders on psychic. It's compassion backed by boundaries that feel like steel gates with celestial locks. It's light that has seen darkness and refuses to be dimmed by it again. You are the contradiction they can't calculate. A gentle presence with apocalyptic potential, a soft heart with a survival instinct sharper than any weapon. A once innocent soul, now fluent in the language of shadows. And the world bends to such paradoxes, not because you demand it, not because you threaten it, but because existence itself recognizes the rarity of what you've become and adjusts to accommodate you. Look at your life carefully. Really look. The right people drift toward you now as if pulled by a tide. Stronger minds, cleaner hearts, solid souls. The wrong ones choke, stumble, fall away, get exposed with surgical accuracy. You didn't push them. You didn't curse them. You didn't even speak. You outgrew them. And the universe carried the trash to the curb for you. This is the part they weren't prepared for. That the world would turn on them for what they did to you. Not with drama, not with fire, not with spectacle, but with the slow, unstoppable elegance of divine consequence. They hurt what was pure. They shattered what was good. They mocked what was gentle. And now the bill is due. And you're not just walking away. You're rising, quietly, powerfully, inevitably. A soul like yours cannot be destroyed. It can only be transformed. And they were foolish enough to think they understood the cost of breaking you. They didn't, but reality did. And now reality is rearranging itself to honor what you've become.